Behind the heavy granite walls of Balmoral Castle, where the heather sways in the Highland wind and history lingers like a shadow in every stone, a conversation unfolded that could determine the future of the British monarchy. It was not a banquet, not a public engagement, not the gilded stagecraft of carriages and tiaras. It was something far more dangerous for those involved. A private reckoning between a father who wears the crown and a son who will one day inherit it. The whispers are clear. King Charles delivered an ultimatum, and Prince William, far from the polite mask he wears in public, may have pressed harder than ever before for a decision that could cut members of his own family out of royal life forever. For weeks, palace courtiers have braced themselves for this confrontation. The scandals surrounding Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson have grown unbearable, each headline another wound to the institution's fragile reputation. And now, with damning emails between Ferguson and Jeffrey Epstein once again dragged into the light, the monarchy faces a test it cannot evade. William, the future king, has reportedly made his stance plain. There can be no compromise, no half measures. Either the rot is cut out completely, or the crown risks further humiliation. The tension between father and son has reached breaking point, and Balmoral became the chosen battlefield. William's journey north did not look like the start of a war. He had just been in Southport with Catherine, meeting grief-stricken families still haunted by the knife attack that took 3 young girls' lives. The images of the Prince and Princess of Wales embracing survivors, speaking softly to parents who will never see their daughters again, were broadcast across Britain. It was the embodiment of duty, resilience, and the kind of connection to ordinary people that keeps the monarchy alive. But once those cameras stopped flashing, William's private jet carried him to Aberdeen, and from there to the Highland retreat where his father waits every summer, and where decisions are made away from the eyes of the world. This is not the first time Charles and William have held such a summit in Balmoral. Insiders say it has quietly become an annual ritual, a pattern born of necessity. Away from advisors, away from palace bureaucracy, sovereign and heir sit down alone. Last year, similar meetings stretched late into the night. This time, though, the stakes were immeasurably higher. The Queen is gone, the crown rests on Charles's head, and the scandals surrounding the York family have escalated beyond containment. At the same time, Prince Harry, thousands of miles away in California yet forever looming in the royal conversation, remains an unresolved wound. According to those close to William, his fury has been building for years. He has never forgiven Andrew for his reckless ties to Epstein, nor for the humiliation of that disastrous 2019 Newsnight interview. He has not forgotten the whispered comments Andrew allegedly made about Catherine, remarks described as offensive and rude in a biography that still haunts the family. And now, Sarah Ferguson's emails, written after she claimed to sever ties with Epstein, calling him her steadfast, generous and supreme friend, have turned an old scandal into a fresh disaster. Charities have abandoned her in droves. What credibility she had left has crumbled. And yet, there she remains, living alongside Andrew at the Royal Lodge, clinging to her proximity to the crown. To William, this is intolerable. He is said to have told confidants that it is unthinkable to have an accused sex offender still breaking bread with the family. He loathes Sarah Ferguson, sees her as a liability, and believes his father has been far too weak in allowing the Yorks to linger within the royal fold. If Charles cannot bring himself to act decisively, then William is prepared to do it himself the moment the crown passes to him. The first thing he will do as king is evict them both, one insider revealed. That promise hangs like a sword over Andrew and Sarah's heads, and it casts a long shadow over the corridors of Balmoral today. But Charles is not a man who enjoys confrontation. His reign so far has been defined by caution, patience, and the hope that time itself will resolve the most awkward crises. His instinct is always to show compassion, even to those who have dragged the monarchy into disrepute. With Andrew, he has tried subtle financial pressure, cutting off stipends and suggesting relocation to smaller homes. Yet Andrew resists, clinging to his lease at the royal lodge like a lifeline. With Harry, Charles has tried to keep the door ajar, inviting him to tea at Clarence's house, and speaking of reconciliation. William sees both of these approaches as dangerous weakness. To him, the monarchy's survival depends on brutal clarity: no more half-in, half-out royals, no more tolerance for scandal, no more indulgence for those who betray the institution's dignity. The confrontation at Balmoral, then, was inevitable. For 54 minutes, father and son spoke behind closed doors, their words echoing in a castle that has borne witness to generations of royal reckonings. Charles, it is said, repeated a version of the words his mother once spoke: "There is no such thing as a half-in, half-out royal." He made it clear that Harry will never again have an official role, that Andrew's public rehabilitation is impossible, and that the crown must move forward untainted. But if Charles thought this firmness would soothe William, he may have miscalculated. For William, words are not enough. He wants action, eviction notices, public distance, and the severing of ties once and for all. Anything less, he believes, leaves the monarchy vulnerable. And all this is happening under a darker cloud still. In Washington, D.C., a judge is preparing to release documents related to Harry's visa application, after the Heritage Foundation raised questions about whether he lied on his forms by omitting past drug use. More than 1,000 records have been uncovered, and though Harry's defenders insist he did nothing wrong, the possibility of further humiliation for the royal family is very real. William, already furious at the damage Harry's memoir caused, sees this as another reason to hold the line. He has not spoken to his brother since their grandmother's funeral. He guards his family's privacy with iron discipline, and he believes Harry has shattered that trust forever. So where does that leave the monarchy? On one hand, Charles is trying to project stability, visiting shipyards in Barrow-in-Furness, bestowing royal honors, and appearing every inch the working monarch. On the other, he retreats to Balmoral to face the son who demands harder decisions, sharper lines, and a ruthless purge of those who threaten the crown. The image of William arriving at Aberdeen Airport, purposeful and unsmiling, captures the gravity of the moment. He was not coming for a holiday. He was coming to force the issue. The symbolism could not be clearer. A father nearing the twilight of his reign, balancing duty and affection, and a son, impatient, already shaping the monarchy he will inherit. In the silence of Balmoral's halls, between portraits of long-dead ancestors, who ruled with absolute authority, Charles and William are deciding the shape of the crown's future. Will compassion triumph, or will William steal? The world may never hear the exact words spoken in those rooms, but the consequences will reveal themselves soon enough. If Andrew and Sarah find themselves frozen out completely, if Harry remains locked outside the gates of royal duty, then we will know William's influence is growing and Charles, at last, has chosen to wield the axe. If not, then the rift between father and son will only deepen, and the monarchy itself may be the casualty. For now, all we can do is watch the Highland mist swirl around Balmoral and wonder, was this the meeting where King Charles finally gave in to his son's demands? Or was this only the beginning of a new, more dangerous battle inside the House of Windsor?